So in this video, I'm going to be talking a bit about my Erlang project. So let's get into it. This project is it tries to convert Markdown to HTML. So for example, if we had this string here, it would convert this into HTML. So like this, this part, this first like cool heading would become an H1 tag, which we'll demonstrate later and see what happens. So now obviously, so it doesn't have all the functionality of Markdown in it, but it does have functionality for headings and paragraphs and unordered lists. And so like these, the asterisks and the hyphens will, I believe, they can be used interchangeably, and they would be of the same unordered list. So, I think that's a little bit different from Markdown. But let's get into this Markdown to HTML function. This passes in a string, which goes to separate words, and the separate words calls this accumulator, this recursive function, and it separates out aspects of the string into a list and returns the list. So that returned value goes into this Markdown to HTML accumulator function. So this is a recursive function that uses a list of words in the Markdown language and converts it to a list of words in HTML. So let's say, for example, the first word is, or the first, I guess, word, but aspect of the list or item in the list is a hashtag. So we know a hashtag in Markdown denotes, could be translated to an H1 tag in HTML. And so right here, we're going to take the head of the list that we pass in, and we're going to go down. So there's no current tags, so this would be empty and empty. But we're going to go down in the case of H. So case of H, let's say it's hashtag, as it says. So hashtag when tag is none. Okay, so add the proper tag to the head of the HTML list, and then add the proper end tag to the head of the tags list. So that's what we do right here. We call this function again, but this time in the HTML list, H1 is added to it, and then the tags is added to it. This end tag is to be added later. And so this is a recursive function that will, convert that Markdown into HTML. And you'll notice down here, we reverse the HTML list at the end because we have been adding to the head. So back to this Markdown to HTML function. This gets pattern matched to this HTML list variable, and then this HTML list variable is passed into this combine words function. So HTML string is what that return value is pattern matched to. So the combine words is a fairly simple. It's a function that calls a fairly simple recursive function that will take that uses a list of strings and returns a single string of them combined. So it will add this space at the end of H. So it'll take the head of the list, add a space to it, and then it will call this thing again, but it will recur with the this added to that. So like that. And then eventually, this list will be exhausted, and so this one will be called, in which case we'll return the result. So, back to Markdown to HTML. We have this HTML string. Now, we're going to print the HTML string to the terminal, and we're going to be calling this display tags and count and display words and count. So display tags and count will basically give some analysis, and we'll display some display tags that we use and the number of them, and the words will be similar but non-tags. And it finds tags by, I believe it looks like, the angle bracket. So it's not necessarily the most robust, but it's fairly decent. So let's go ahead and run this program. So we're going to open a new terminal. We're going to do ERL to open up the Erlang shell. We're going to do C MD, which is the name of our module, period. So this will compile the module. You can see this .beam file has been created. Now, from the MD module, we're going to call our Markdown to HTML function. And we're going to pass into it from the Markdown file, or from the Markdown module. We're going to pass in this test string long. So test string long, and this is a function that returns this test string. We'll put a period at the end, and we'll do that. As you can see, we get this that came out, and so this is the HTML analysis, the number of HTML elements, so the tags. We have the word analysis, number of words. And let's go ahead, and this is the HTML from Markdown, so this is good. So we'll go ahead and Alt-Tab over to this test.html file, and we'll paste that. Now, we'll go ahead and open this with a live server. So, let's see, Chrome opens, and it's loading. And in a second, we should see that this has, it has translated our Markdown to HTML.